Hello, everybody. Welcome to Integrated Math 3. I will be one of your co-hosts for the year, Mr. Spellman. The other teacher, Miss Elliott, will also be doing videos throughout the year for everybody. I'm looking forward to a very exciting and fun year with everyone learning mathematics. All right, the first topic that we are going to dive into is going to be number sets. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about throughout this and the next video. The one question that I want you guys to focus on, not only in this section, but also throughout this entire unit, is how can we define groups of objects? All right, so that is going to be one of our essential questions that we are going to discuss. And remember, it's not just something that we're focusing on now. Throughout this unit, you'll see that we'll be able to answer this question in more detail and in different ways. All right, so the first thing that we're going to discuss is what is a set? And a set is a collection of numbers or objects. All right, and you'll see, so I can say that maybe let's have a set of all of our vowels. So we want to write a set of all of the vowels that we have. So the way that we can denote this is we'll write it as a capital letter, and I'm going to use V since we're talking about vowels, but really your sets can be made up of with any letter that you want. And I'm going to say our set is equal to, and now when we're writing out our set, we will use the curly bracket or brace. And then we're going to write all of what is contained within our set. So we will have A, E, I, O, and U. Bear with me for right now. This is one of the first times I am using this writing pad, so it's a little sloppy, but I hope to get used to using this fairly quickly. So once again, a set is a collection of numbers or objects. So I said first, let's write a set of all of our vowels. And here we wrote it out. So we denoted our set by writing it as a capital letter. And then we said it's equal to, and we wrote out the braces, and that lets us know that this is what our set is made up of. And then we listed all of the vowels that we have, A, E, I, O, and U. All of these letters that you see here, why isn't it writing? Hold on. All of these letters that you see here, these are called the elements of our sets. All right, so whatever makes up our sets are called the elements. All right, and remember, we will write this out by saying a capital letter to denote that it is a set, and then we write our braces and we list whatever our set is equal to, or whatever our set has, whatever elements are in our sets. So that's one way. Now, what if I told you let's do some even numbers? Let's say positive even numbers, or just even numbers. All right, so if we wanted to denote this set, we can maybe call it set E since we're doing even numbers, and then we'll say it's equal to, we'll write the brace. So let's just start with 2, 4, 6, 8. Now, it's not going to be possible for me to write out all of the even numbers. So if I write these 3 dots, and these 3 dots are called an ellipsis, and it lets us know that this pattern is going to continue forever. All right, it's going to keep going. So it's letting us know since we're adding by 2 here, we will just keep adding by 2, adding by 2. Now there's infinitely many even numbers, and we can't write them all out. So that's why we have to write it out like this. All right, so now we have 2 examples of sets, and one is containing objects, one is containing or letters, and one is containing numbers. And now we also have 2 different kinds of sets here as well, where this is actually can be referred to as a finite set, meaning that we have a finite number of objects or something that we can actually count. And when you have a finite set, you can write it out like this, and that lets us know how many number of elements we have in this set. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would say that the number of elements in set V is equal to 5. For our second set with even numbers, I kind of already said what this was. Remember that this pattern keeps going, and the dots means that it's going to go to infinity. So this is actually called an infinite set, meaning there's no end to it. So it's an infinite set. It goes on to infinity. Now, for here, we can't count the number of objects that we would have, but we would say that the number of objects in set E is infinite. All right, so here we just have a few different examples of sets. We have ones with objects, ones with numbers. The objects, the vowels that we had, each of these vowels were an element within a set. Same thing with each of these numbers were elements within a set. Since this set ends, we can count all the numbers. That's called a finite set, and we can write how many are actually in there. With the even numbers, it was an infinite set. So we can't say how many number, but we would just say that the number of elements in set E is infinite. All right, then there's two other things I still want to go through with you this. So for vowels, if we pick a letter, let's say we pick A. Let me just change this color real quick. So let's say we pick A. We would say that A is a member or an element, a member of set V. And a way that we can denote that is we can say A, and then we would use this symbol here where it kind of looks like the letter E. And this symbol is the Greek letter for epsilon. Right? So we would say A is a member of, and then we would put the set, so V. So that's the way that we would denote that whatever element we're looking at is a member. So it is this Greek letter epsilon, which kind of looks like a little curvy E. Right? So this is read as A is a member of set V. Now let's go over here and do another example. What if I say, let's look at the number 7. And 7 is not an even number, so we can't say that it is an element of set E. So the way that we would denote that it's not a member or not an element is we will put a slash through it. All right, so these are just some of the things that you need to know. You need to know the difference between a finite set and an infinite set. You'll need to know how to write out the number of elements that we have in each set. And you'll also need to be able to denote that something is an element or something is not an element of those sets. All right, that is it for the first video. And the second video of this section, we are going to go through the different types of number sets that we have.